Welcome everyone to the premiere of a brand new show here on CageSide Seats and YouTube called Wednesday Night Shooting with Tonya and Andrew. Yay!
Woo!
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
we're formerly known as Live After SmackDown Live. I'm still going to keep naming these. This one is named Brand Zombies because that's how I feel the build up for Survivor Series has been. I've said it.
Mm.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad it's this Sunday. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. It's this Sunday. So people can go back to hating each other and wanting to kill each other.
Things can go back to making sense. Or as much things can go back to making sense on SmackDown and as much sense as they can on Raw.
I'm just Bailey shouldn't be jumping nobody's side of
Are we gonna start with that? I feel like now that you opened up the floodgates there.
Yeah, because listen, we're gonna start every week on Hot Topics, and we're gonna talk about Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Also, something else. I know you went to the show. Did you actually go to the infamous Evolve show? Everybody,
yeah, with Joey Styles making comments. Yeah,
we have to talk about that.
I'll go over that for sure.
We're gonna get into the title of this show is Brand Zombies, and per se, but that's the problem I had with it. And people like, oh well, blah blah blah, making excuses for it. But if you have a good writer, you could have done that so that it made sense for everybody to get in a brawl.
Mm-hmm.
Now it just looks like Charlotte, once again, is the center of it, and everybody else was kind of doing her bidding. I can understand why the SmackDown women come out because, hey, it is their show. I do understand that you ain't going to come in here and think you run it. Carmella, who I wanted to say this first. I didn't want to post it or anything. I wanted to let you know personally. These last 2 or 3 weeks, I have enjoyed Carmella.
Ooh.
I have. See, this is the thing. I had liked her in the beginning when she first debuted, and then I stopped. So now I'm coming back. It was just growing pains, and a little upset about who she was going after, maybe. But I can appreciate what I'm seeing now as a character, especially. I can understand her jumping in because those bitches was still in her spotlight. She supposed to be the one beating up Nikki Bella. I can understand it halfway almost if they had did a little something to give me a reason to see Bailey the way I saw her. It's a travesty. I'm not going to accept anything else.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I see what you're saying with Carmella, but I don't buy it at all. The way that they've presented her character since the SmackDown after SummerSlam, she's been like psychotic. Like it's not just a feud. Like she's insane. Like when she comes out, she's always like, "Hey, Nikki," and so I don't know. It seemed very strange to me considering like she had just been trying to work over her surgically repaired neck.
Yeah.
And then like kind of viciously so, and then like immediately be like, "Oh, okay, let me help." First of all, why would you be an idiot? Why would you be an idiot and jump in when there's 5 of them and the one person that's with you is dead on the ground? Like at least wait for the cavalry to show up. Like come on here. But it was that was I accepted that. It was frustrating, but I accepted it. This is kind of actually how I went the whole segment. It was a lot of frustrating shit, but I accepted it because it was a really hot brawl and the crowd was super into it. Like that.
And Sasha and Alexa.
Sasha and Alexa shooting on each other. That's always.
Just for that. It was worth it just for that.
It was worth it for that. But there was like, all right. So Carmella, like you can justify it, but they really haven't done a very good job of building up to like Carmella making that save. B, Sasha being the first person to back up Charlotte when literally the night before she was like, nobody likes you, no one's going to take your orders.
You're right.
Literally the night before she said that.
You know what happened though, right? They got bit by the brand zombie.
Everybody's been bit by the brand zombie, and in almost every way it's been kind of nonsensical.
It's two brand zombies. Brand zombie is Mick Foley.
Oh God.
And he's just going around and murmuring and having long monologues that have nothing to do with the question that was asked of him. And he's biting everybody on Raw. And then the brand zombie for SmackDown is The Undertaker, who will kick everybody's ass on SmackDown if they lose. So he's coming back.
We'll get to that. But like as you said, the Bayley, the minute I saw her in that, I like kind of lost my shit a little bit. I mean, not like really lost my shit, but I was just like, well, this is fucking stupid. Because there's no justification for that character ever doing that sort of thing. Especially like if for some reason they had done segments with her like on Raw leading up to this, like explaining why she was like so into the brand pride that she'd been on for 2 months, like 2.5 months. Then okay, but like just coming out to mug a defenseless person, no, that's not that character. And it never will be that character. So that was like particularly egregious. And the only reason I justified like giving the grade that I gave on the review was because I considered that Raw stuff. Like the Bayley thing, I considered it Raw stuff. Otherwise, I literally would have downgraded the grade like to a B or a B minus even. Like I was so annoyed with that. And like you said, they could have done stuff for everybody to get to these places organically.
Yep.
It wouldn't even have been that hard to do. Like SmackDown, like I put in the review, all you had to do is any sole survivor gets a title shot. There you go. Everyone has a reason to be on the same page then, So that's that. And Raw, I mean, Raw's gonna Raw, so whatever. But it's just frustrating because they knew the segment was going to get over big, and it did, because it was a hot ass fire brawl.
It was.
With a bunch of people that the crowd is interested in watching. So just a shot on the entire men's roster. So they knew it was getting over, and we're just like, we don't need to do anything. We just need to present this brawl and have them like duke it out, and people will go nuts for it. And that's frustrating because like SmackDown especially has been so good at like clarifying, justifying, and explaining everything they do that you can like see things happen before they happen. And like, I don't know, it really bothered me. But at the same time, I loved the segment because it was a hot fire brawl, So I kind of have mixed feelings about it.
You just have to just start thinking in terms of sometimes it's not going to make sense. It's not. Look who runs the company. Sometimes you're just going to be like, alrighty then. Let's move on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. Like, that's kind of how I came down to it. I was all pissy about it even though I was like really enjoying it. And then I was like, you know what? Sometimes like WWE gonna WWE, and like if you're gonna watch the product, you gotta make some. You gotta accept some things, you know.
Yeah.
You gotta accept that for some reason Shane McMahon is gonna be in the Survivor Series team just because he's a McMahon.
Right.
You
I
know.
was thinking about it though with the Bailey thing. It was like when you're a kid and you realize like Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny isn't real. And seeing Bailey participating, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is a fucking work, isn't it?" I cannot keep my childhood. Thanks for that, WWE.
Yeah, they broke through. They somehow broke through kayfabe by being kayfabe. I don't. Man, oh W-dubs, W-dubsies.
Okay, are we going to talk about
Let's get out of that.
The state of the WWE?
God. What were your thoughts on that? Because I thought it was a tire fire until Brian just started like shooting.
Okay, I thought all of it was a tire fire, even Daniel Bryan. Where do I begin? Paul Heyman was delightful because I watched it again the next day. Paul Heyman was delightful. He was actually more effective in selling me, at least, on the pretend merits of Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. He was very, very well spoken, got his point across. He was an asshole towards Renee, which always is going to, make him seem kind of slimy because everybody loves Renee. Why are you being an asshole towards her? And then the GM and commissioner for both Raw and SmackDown joined the program. Okay, first of all, like, this is no joke. Take Mick. I'm advocating, if you're going to go ahead and bring Triple H back to take this role, please do. Mick Foley cannot stay on point. And it's for a very good reason.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no reason to, like, I don't know. He says he wants to help, and I believe him, but he can work backstage. He doesn't have to be in a position where he has to talk and sell matches. And Renee Young asked him, go back and watch it on the award-winning WWE Network. If you do not believe me, Renee Young asked Mick Foley, would he ever consider working with Daniel Bryan? And he, without addressing the question at all, goes into this long spiel for minutes and minutes about how working with Stephanie has changed his life and charities and all type. And I was thinking, where is he going with this? Because that's not, now if he had tied it back around in a little bow, like, so right now I can't even think about working with anyone else because Stephanie's so great. That would make sense. But he never got there. And people had to cut him down and shut him down constantly. I thought Daniel Bryan was not as sensitive as perhaps he should have been to Mick Foley, considering Mick Foley's condition. And he kind of I think Foley was trying to stay in kayfabe a little. And then Daniel Bryan started shooting, and he started shooting hard on Kevin Owens, which irritated me. Like, we all know he's been booked into the ground. So you ain't got to say he ain't no real champion. Like, that was a little, like, I know if I was Kevin Owens, I kind of would have felt like my feelings hurt. Like, if you got something to say to me, Buckaroo, we backstage together. Seriously, he kept going on and on. And Mick Foley was trying to, like, keep it kayfabe because he the face, so he ain't supposed to be rooting for cheating. But at the same time, Daniel Bryan shitting on this dude enough. So personally, I don't really like somebody saying he ain't no real champion because I'm rooting for this guy. And that's all I saw from Mick Foley. And I saw Daniel Bryan mad and pissed off and upset that he got called out, that he really don't want to be the GM. That's what it seemed like. And I was like, okay, but if you don't want to be there, why did you sign for season 2 of Total Bellas? Like, WWE is not going to have you wrestle. So if you really want to wrestle and you think you can, then do like your pal CM Punk and fucking leave the company. Like I am all good for like complaining, but if you that damn miserable at a company, maybe leave. Maybe don't give them the option. And CM Punk showed if you got the smart lawyers and the right amount of money, that contract ain't good for shit because you're an independent contractor anyway. They try to treat them like employees, independent. I can understand what Daniel Bryan's going through, but he seemed so bitter on that show. I could not stop watching. It is poor Stephanie. Oh my God. Stephanie trying to keep it on.
Keep it on to Survivor Series.
Her to death. Because every time somebody said something, she was back on that match. She was on it. Anytime she said something, just like when we're gonna take SmackDown down in the match this Sunday. You know, that's a good point, but we got to talk about Survivor Series. I was like, why is poor Stephanie? It should have just been Stephanie and Shane. But not even Shane, because all I got from Shane was that this is so, okay, it was a lot of shooting. And Stephanie and Shane were shooting too, but it was so subtle because Daniel Bryan was overboard. A lot of people didn't catch it. In the beginning, Shane said, well, you guys stacked the deck against SmackDown. Then he correctly said, no. You guys didn't. The top stacked the deck against us. I'm sitting here like, who's the top? Who the top is? Say who the top is. Then at the end, when he was talking about how he just want all this to happen so Mom can be proud of him.
Yep.
They got into the discussion, and Stephanie was like, well, Mom may be more proud, but I know Dad's more proud of me. And then she let out a laugh that was just like in your face. I was like, everybody's shooting on the show. Nobody cares anymore. Let's not ever do this again.
Yeah.
It did not sell the match at Survivor Series. It was just
no. All it sold was I kind of wanted to get a camera on the McMahon Thanksgiving dinner.
Right.
Like I kind of want to see the arguments there now.
It's gonna be petty as hell. Because you know Triple H gonna be there too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. NXT. Ooh.
NXT problems. Yeah.
Oh my God. Miss McMahon ain't gonna be talking to nobody at the table. It makes small talk. Hey.
It's kind of hilarious that's literally how that like thing ended. Was like, let's argue about our parents. Like let's shoot argue about our relationship with our parents. Like that's what a weird company this is.
That's why I said like these people have none of these wrestlers have a backbone. They work for the McMahons, and every little weird whim, Vince McMahon come out the woodwork and he said it's time for a flaming pole throwing match. People, and we're gonna have qualifying rounds, but they just gonna all come out. One dude music gonna come out, and nobody's a free thinker. And if you are, you get injured like Baron Corbin. You get taken out of matches. So these people try to kill themselves just to be the face or just to please the McMahons. So it's not really that surprising that now the McMahons say, we're fighting over brand supremacy. And they're like, diddly-doo, sure is. I'm Team Raw, even though I keep getting screwed over on Raw. When he said Cesaro and Sami Zayn,
well, no, like, he said Claudio, which I think was on purpose. I'm not gonna lie.
Claudio gonna get buried again. It ain't gonna be his fault. He started losing when he be Braun Strowman, and it's lit match, but Braun gonna beat him every single time.
Yep.
Gonna make him look really, really strong.
You don't like Braun Strowman, do you?
This is the thing about brunch. I didn't like. It's not liking him. I will readily and openly admit now I don't like James Ellsworth.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep. For sure.
I like Brian. To me, it seems like it's just I don't see him do nothing special. To me, it just be he do ordinary stuff, and people be like, "Oh yes, impressive." Like he's not the biggest wrestler I've ever seen. What is he, 6'8"? Sky Hall is 6'7". You know.
Yeah, but he's a pretty big boy.
Yeah, he's a pretty big boy, but like it's kind of like with Seth Rollins and people like he does impressive flippy stuff. No, he doesn't. I mean, I guess if you just started watching wrestling, I watched too much to be like impressed by you doing like a suicide dive through the middle rope over and over. Yay, impressive. Everybody does that now.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the consequence of working as fast as you can. Like, seriously, Roman Reigns isn't that big, but he's a big enough dude to where sometimes he be working so fucking fast. And you can tell, especially when you wrestle somebody slow now like Jericho, motherfucker was running all around. I was like, Kurt Angle is right. These kids need to slow down a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't really let things build. You know?
Then you have somebody like Braun who now you giving him the same tropes that I've seen before. And it seems like I know he's capable of more, but it seems like he do ordinary stuff. And it's oh my God, he clotheslined somebody out of the ring. I've never seen that except all the time. It's devastating. Like he don't look that strong to me. He's just like he's a solid big guy, but I think he's being pushed up there as a great guy when he hasn't yet earned it. I've not yet seen him put on a match where I can say, "Oh, that was great." I don't squash matches don't impress me. It's unless Alexa Bliss does them because she's on a different level. Like that girl put psychology into squash matches. And most times, squash matches is look how great I am, flippity doo dah. Look at all these moves, or aren't I strong?
Or, yeah, Alexa's squashes are like, I'm gonna murder this fucker.
Yeah,
I'm gonna gank this person.
She is personally insulted that this is her competition tonight. And you get that feeling from her. I don't get a strong presence from Braun. It seems a bit overhyped to me, but I'm not writing him off. I think I'm not going to take away from where he started till now. He has improved. That is absolutely the truth. But I've seen, the Big Show do some shit that had my mouth genuinely open. Braun Strowman has never hit a move and my mouth gaped open. I've seen John Cena do feats of strength where I'm like, how the fuck is he doing this? So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not that impressed by him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see once he gets like a actual program if he can provide it. I think one of the things that's surprisingly good about him is he's a pretty decent promo in that he's not like the greatest speaker in the world, but he's like concise and he like stays true to who he should be, like he doesn't waste words. Like he's like, also, first of all, telling Jericho that he wanted his scarf, that's kind of really good.
Yeah.
That's kind of like really funny stuff. At least it popped me a little bit. I don't know. And then ripping it up and then saying he doesn't like scarves. That's pretty good. I don't know. I think he's got some potential to do a lot of good stuff, but yeah, we'll see what they have planned for him. I mean,
Yeah,
we're throwing out all these like possible Mania matches, and if Vince is so high on him and he is improving, then you figure he's got to get something pretty important too. So I don't know.
I just want people to slow down. Like Bill Parcells said about Tony Romo. Don't crown him yet. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You know, certain people were praising Dana Brooke, and she got to the main roster.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeesh.
I think everybody was praising Dana Brooke in that like 7-month period where she didn't wrestle a single match, where she was just the sidekick to Emma. You know,
was a good look.
Like she was great in that role. That was wonderful. But like put her in the ring in a match, and man, she's not very good.
Well, we can start breaking down these cards because this is the go home show for Survivor Series. Now we could just go on and get this out of the way. Do you want to say any words about? I think the main event. I guess it is everything.
No,
the main
I
event.
don't. I don't care.
You have nothing.
I have no words for that.
Goldberg apparently tweets his shoulder doing that simple shit that he did this past Monday. To say Brock's gonna win, and I think the rumor is they're gonna kind of 50-50 it, where Brock wins, but Goldberg still looks good, and everybody knows. Everyone loves that type of booking. Cannot wait. So, let's go to the Raw men's match. The elimination Raw versus SmackDown. I mean,
yeah.
What are your thoughts? And who do you have as sole survivor? What side you think is going to win? Yada yada. You know.
I tell you what, I have not thought at all about the match. I've been over here like fantasy booking 1,200 different scenarios for the women's match, and I've been like thinking about the tag match. I haven't thought at all about the men's. I don't even know who's gonna win. I guess with the thing they did with the Undertaker last night, that it probably means Raw's gonna win and Roman's gonna be the sole survivor. Probably just because, why not, you know? Or Rollins, I don't know. I feel like KO is gonna get geeked out like early. And Jericho will probably somehow last. I just have zero. Like, I think the match will be fun, but I don't really have any interest in it, if that makes sense, you know?
Well, I do, and for only one reason, and because I cannot give up hope on this. Once again, WWE has crafted another situation where it's perfect time and opportunity in place and means to turn Roman Reigns heel. And I would also like him to be the sole survivor. This would help so much if he screws Seth Rollins, makes Seth Rollins get eliminated. Then it looks like, he's just gonna help Dean because that's his buddy, and then he fucks Dean up. And this is my fantasy. He spears James Ellsworth through the barricade. Now, that last part may be a bit much, but I think it drives home the clear fact that, like, if he spears Ellsworth, like, I know, like, everybody else loves him, and that's why it was solidified the heel turn, right? Because, like, on Dean, or at this point, they've all done a little shady shit towards each other, so, you know, it may not still be clear. He might try to be a face tomorrow. But if he spears Ellsworth for no reason through a barricade, it is clear as day. and it would change up all the alliance. Like Jericho's already over as hell, so use that instead of like trying to have Kevin Owens fight it. Turn him face, and they would, and you can still big for the big moments, but now you have your alignments. That's all I care about. I don't care about the stories anymore. Stop asking this man to be nice to these people. This is my assumption, because I kind of feel like
about the tweet,
knowing stuff. Roman Reigns been tweeting his ass off. Vince told him something good about WrestleMania, y'all. So I want you to buckle in, because every time he start getting cocky, he in a big match next. He's about to win the title or something like that. So, yup, he been tweeting his ass off to the haters, which is like funny to me, dude. Like, play into that. Obviously, these people taking time and energy out their day to hate on you. Give them a reason to. People like, well, this isn't helping. Nothing is. Why the fuck not? I guarantee you, there are a lot of his friends that were like, he was like, should I tweet this? I was like, hell yeah. What's it gonna fucking matter if you don't tweet it? It's not like people not gonna boo you Monday. So why, at this point, who gives a shit? Anybody still shaking their heads at Roman Reigns acting like this towards fans? Like, this is who he is. You gotta understand.
Maybe he's just
they gonna do what they gonna do.
Maybe he's just prepping himself for the fact that if Vince ever gets randomly tired and was like, all right, we'll turn him heel to make a big moment, then like he'll be prepared and he'll already have been leading into it, you know? I don't know.
Because he obviously doesn't, he gives no fucks anymore, and you can kind of tell where he's just like settled into the, okay, it's happening regardless. He's a fucking troll. And he himself, and he will troll the shit out of these people. Like, and especially if he's not going to get in trouble for doing this, which is obvious he's not, he's going to do it whenever he wants to. You know, John Cena made a joke a couple of weeks ago to a child that I found quite inappropriate for him to be making. And the child asked him at a press conference with Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, and Daniel Bryan there, what his favorite food.
Oh, yeah.
He told this little child, couldn't have been around my son's age. He took, I would tell Nikki to stand up or something like that. And then also said, you'll figure that out when you're like 15 years old. Like, do you know who this child gonna ask about that question?
His parents.
Right. I think that was worse than talking shit about people who already don't like you.
I'm sorry, I can't not laugh at John Cena being ridiculous like that.
That was it, and it was ridiculous. That wasn't a think of the children moment, but because I mean, like, I'm pretty cool with stuff like that, but like, I was like, come on, John.
You know what? He needs to like lay easy on that sort of stuff if he's going to run for president in 2020.
He does, though.
He needs to watch himself. He's just setting up. Well, here's the thing. I don't even know if that could be used in a campaign. Okay, I'm working myself into a shoot about Cena 2020.
Okay. Why don't we just hop on there for a minute? Let's not get political. Let's go ahead. We've gotten all off the topic. We are supposed to be picking who the sole survivor.
Oh, shit. We're just like Mick.
That's because you have no interest in it.
Yeah, that's because I don't care at all about the men's. All right, sole survivor. I'm going to do it right now. Roman for the men's. And he's going to last eliminate Ambrose with Styles' help. Styles is going to do some shit and and then
Okay.
Yeah.
I say it's gonna be Seth Rollins.
Ugh.
After like Roman gets eliminated and helps him beat Dean Ambrose. The women's match. Who do you pick to win in Soul Survivors and all that?
All right. There's two thoughts here. Who do I want to win and think should win, or who do I think will win? God, that reminds me. I should look at the betting lines. Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. I think it makes so much. It is set up so well to give Bayley a big launching pad and a big come from behind, like 3-1, shit, even 4-1. I don't know, like crazy come from behind victory, which is of course helped by dissension in the SmackDown team, but still like eliminating a bunch of folks to win. It's so painfully obvious that I fear that they're just not going to do it. But I cannot see another result that does something really good for the division, for either division. Like, I think SmackDown's going to be fine regardless, and they don't need to win the match because they know. Because on Tuesday, they'll be like, whatever, that was dumb nonsense. And they'll go back to telling their stories, and it'll be great. But Raw will probably big up a victory for like months on end. Like, we're the top brand. We won the Survivor Series match. So at least give that accolade to Bayley. Now, what do I fear will happen is that Bayley and Sasha will be like geeked out in some way, or cheated out, and Charlotte will be the sole survivor. And honestly, if they do that, I can't. I have no words for how annoyingly, obnoxiously bitchy I will be if that happens. I assure you, I will have to delete like 15 tweets. Because I will just be bitching nonstop, straight. But they've shown us that she's the top star. She gets everything. So
yes, and one of the things that they do give Survivor, and they gave it one of the best Soul Survivors I've ever seen. They gave Roman Reigns one. I don't know if they're gonna give him two. That's why I said Seth Rollins. But on this one, see, here's if I was Vince, how I would do it. Just to troll you, Sasha, Bayley, Becky stands down to the 4 horsewomen, or some variant. Probably the 4 horsewomen, Nikki and Alexa.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's who's left. So it's Charlotte. I would have Charlotte actually walk out. And I would have either she like pretends to walk out, gets counted out. Then when it's Sasha and Bayley and they're rallying, she comes and eliminates Sasha. Because apparently, I feel like Sasha's owed another rematch, and I feel that shit's going to spring up again.
Yeah.
So then you have Bayley, and she only needs to face, like, I think, at the end, because she's going to be in and out, getting her ass beat the whole match, facing peril, all that. They can even work like a knee or an arm or whatever that's injured early in the match before anybody even gets eliminated. They can do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Either eliminate like the last 2 people and be the sole survivor. So I do think they should go for that gimmick for both women's matches. But what I do, like, I would either do that and have everybody so scared, like, is Charlotte going to come back? And even have Charlotte try to come back and fuck with Bayley. And then, like, Sasha come back and help her or some bullshit, I would gimmick the hell. Like, I would leave the men's match relatively, like, if Roman's not turning heel, just relatively, like, who's going to fucking win, who's going to be the best man, whatever. I would gimmick the hell out of the women's match for like surprise and awe and shock. Like either that or I would have Charlotte be the first one eliminated in the match.
I mean, I've been saying that for some time. Like that's
because like they're only hyping her singles record. This is an elimination match. Not the queen. She ain't got nothing to prove. She can say that match don't matter. The next day, she's still the queen. I'll either do that, but I don't think that this year would be the year to have Charlotte be the sole survivor. I'm not going to say that she won't either be that or, you know, there's some other people left on the winning team and Charlotte's one of them. You know, make some crazy stuff where Charlotte and Bayley are double drop kicking people together and shit.
God.
Jesus fucking crying.
Oh, well, you know, that's bound to happen too. So what about which is the most ridiculous match, 10 on 10, it's going to be 20 men.
20 people is so many.
I'm not going to be able to pay attention to the tag team match at all. Yeah. I'm saying at a certain point, it's going to be so much shit going on everywhere.
Oh, God. They're going to have show like 4 different cameras in every corner of the screen to like, because New Day are going to be up to some shenanigans. Enzo and Cass will be doing some shit. One actually has to be on the match. And then I kind of want to see Breezango do shit too. Like just walk around the crowd and give people tickets. I'm big on that gimmick now.
They are great. They are so awesome. I'm so glad they found like something that's clicking. Yes. I knew it wasn't going to take long. They're pretty good at knowing who their characters are. Yeah. Even like for people who say Fandango's a stupid character and the dude got buried, he knows exactly who Fandango is. And when you see Tony Curtis, you see Fandango. And you believe that he believes in what he's saying. And in a lot of ways, Fandango is way more genuine a character than Roman Reigns. And that isn't fucked up. Like, seriously. That speaks volumes on how, like, if you leave these people alone and let them come up, because I'm guaranteeing you nobody gave that to them. Or if it was given to them, they took it and grew on it. And, like, the more the WWE tries to control it, the worse it is.
Yeah.
This is what I want to see because of Breezango. I want to see Breezango and American Alpha be the last 2 teams. And so SmackDown wins. So that Breezango moves into the title feud against Slater and Rhino.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
And American Alpha still has a score to settle with the Usos.
With the Usos, yeah.
I think that should spring up in the match. I don't think they should.
Yeah, the Usos have also been affected by the brand zombie.
Yeah.
Like, they're back doing their flippy shit again.
Right.
Get out of here with that garbage. I want to see them take some legs, not do some suicide dives, you know?
Because everybody does suicide dives.
Everybody does suicide dives.
Not even cute anymore.
It's not cute. People need to stop doing them as like a thing.
Right. So, the Intercontinental Champion is now The Miz.
Oh, God. Yeah.
That was great. That was an awesome match. I very much, like, The Miz is so old school, it's not even funny. Like, you can tell, like, if there are people walking around thinking The Miz does not love wrestling, then, like, what kind of wrestling have you watched? Have you grown up with? Are you just used to, like, one certain type? Because he is obviously old school, like, Southern wrestling heel to his core, to his bone marrow. And that type of heel is always going to get the face over. It's like Andy Kaufman type of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
even people who like Andy Kaufman was like, that shit is so fucking annoying, but somebody just hit him in the face and shut him up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That is an art form. It really is. Like, he's been so on point. And it was before he went to SmackDown, but he was getting overshadowed by other stuff when he was on Raw. And he took the Intercontinental Championship to like something where it was a joke. He became the Intercontinental Champion, and all of a sudden you're gonna lose. And understand, I think the Miz is back there talking to somebody, be like, no, I can't lose this match.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you would notice even before the split, he knew the split was coming up. The Miz is so smart. He was thinking about shit like this. And you know, Dolph's one of his friends.
Yep.
You know, they were pitching stuff like this
Mm-hmm.
already to creative before the brand split. They're like, okay, you go and you challenge Dean. Then after that, here comes your real story. And Dolph was probably like, no way, that's not going to work. People aren't going to buy it. He is over. Like, it's amazing to see. That's why, for that very reason, if you want Sami Zayn to even become like a mid-level star, you cannot have him beat The Miz Sunday. You cannot. It cannot happen. I understand the end goal of the Intercontinental title is to give it to the one that Vince smiles upon. Okay, when you get there, drag it out a little further. Sami Zayn and The Miz are the type that they could feud in social media and saying little smart stuff in interviews and after talk shows, that if you held it off to at least the Royal Rumble, but that could be a Mania match if they built it right, to where the Intercontinental Championship changes. And I also would add the stipulation that whoever wins this match, because Stephanie doesn't like Sami Zayn, The Miz doesn't like Daniel Bryan, vice versa, all of that. Whoever wins the Intercontinental Championship gets to decide from WrestleMania to WrestleMania, whatever, which brand they're going to be on. So when the brand split happens, even if they've lost the Intercontinental Championship, they can still say, I'm staying on SmackDown or I'm staying on Raw. That's how you do like brand supremacy with a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that hard. But I just fear that like the end goal for the Intercontinental Championship is into like Dean won it, so the other two have to win it. It's the Shield. They have to share everything. Vince wants them to marry the same woman, but you know that was a bit too much. Like we can't share everything. Trust me. People wait. Dean Ambrose gonna get his WrestleMania moment with the title. It may happen a bit late, but he gonna get one because he's the only one that hasn't. He's gonna get one. Don't worry. They share everything. I'm telling everybody they share almost everything.
Yeah, I think the thing about putting I hear you putting the belt on eventually on Rollins and Reigns to give them their Grand Slam or whatever. It doesn't make sense because once you're in once you're a main event player, you shouldn't be winning the Intercontinental Championship, unless you're being clearly dropped down the card. All throughout when I was growing up, throughout the 90s, it was you win the Intercontinental Championship, you might be the next guy, in line to have a run with the big belt. Is how it came across, at least. I don't know if that's necessarily accurate.
Yeah, but
it felt like a stepping stone, and now it's a step backward, it would be for Rollins and Reigns, which is weird. But
look what belt they have to fight for over on Raw, though.
Yeah.
No, not really. Not really.
The Universal Championship.
I kind of feel like that belt is the Universal Championship to give it some kind of lineage or something. What the WWE is going to do is combine it with another belt soon, and it's either going to be the United States belt, which I hope they don't, because if you're trying to build a legacy with a belt, don't give it to the guy that everybody's booing, but he's not a heel. Don't do that. Oh, no, don't do that. Wait till Finn come back, then try it. but it could be the Intercontinental Championship. And it is, once again, if something's over, Vince has to play his chess moves and move it around. So if this is over, I have to transfer it over. Thinking, because these guys got it over, now the job is done. I don't have to work anymore. It's over. Right? I don't have to keep doing this.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because it seems so like the failure of the Cruisers on Raw and like putting them on, giving them their show on Tuesday, and also putting them hypothetically putting them on the Blue brand and like exchanging it for the Intercontinental Championship. It seems so Vince, not necessarily like we can't read his mind. We're not in on creative meetings. We don't know he's saying this, but it is at least so clearly coincides with the general perception of how Vince books and feels about his company and about how he creates. So honestly, like, that's a problem on its own. Like, even if it's not the case, people think it's the case, and that's a big problem. So yeah, like, they built the Intercontinental Championship in this awesome story, and now Sammy winning it in Canada would be a great moment. And it's like, but then what happens with Sammy? Like, he starts doing, 50-50 losing non-title matches. Like, it goes unimportant, it's not a big deal. Doesn't get like huge, like, promo segments like it has on SmackDown and stuff. And there's no talking smack, obviously, to further it. So it's so depressing to see what's about to happen, and just don't want it to happen. Like you said, I want The Miz to win badly because Sammy especially needs a journey.
Yeah. And
he's a guy who needs a journey. Same with Bayley. Like, if they put the title on Bayley too early, it will be a big mistake. They need to make journeys with these people, and they don't really know how to do that. At least Raw has not shown the ability to do that. They've been doing that quite a bit on SmackDown. But yeah, I wanted The Miz to win it because it made sense to go heel face, and it made sense. It makes sense, I guess, for Sammy to win, but it feels like we're losing something that was a big part of SmackDown Live's early success, and that's kind of a bummer.
You think the shows they're gonna swap belts?
I think it's the fact that they came out and said the Cruiserweight show is on Tuesdays, like after SmackDown. Isn't it taping with SmackDown? Like, isn't it going in that arena? I think that that was my impression, at least, which is clear evidence that the division is going to Tuesdays. So I mean, they could keep the Intercontinental Championship on SmackDown, and I'd love it, and also put the Cruisers over there. That's great. I mean, I know they only have 2 hours, but they seem to maximize their minutes over there.
No. If the Cruiserweight belt goes, then Intercontinental title coming.
I know. I don't want it to, though.
But it's a possibility if Raw gets the Intercontinental title, they can still keep the Cruiserweights. I don't know how that's going to be possible. But this is seriously what I would not be surprised if neither title goes anywhere, and we just all talked about this for no fucking reason, because there was never any intention of moving either title.
I can see a rumor in the rumor roundup, like 2 days later. It was like, there was never any intention to. Right. I could totally see myself reading that 2 days after Survivor Series.
Right, who's getting what? We're all getting worked, right?
Yeah.
This is the game. This is how it works now.
They all know that they just do shit, and we'll work ourselves into shoots.
Is that all that's happening?
What is did you watch any? What else is happening in Survivor Series? I think that's it, right? What else? God, there's got to be something else, right? Isn't it like a 6-hour show?
It's supposed to be like 2-hour pre-show. Yeah.
2-hour pre-show, which is going to be a lot of talking. God, that pre-show is going to be awful. I'm not going to watch that pre-show. And then a 4-hour show they don't have that many matches. I guess the three, oh my God, those matches are going to go for like 45 minutes each, aren't they? Holy shit. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I'm proud. Yeah, I'm going to be in and out then. Listen, I know you're going to ask me about NXT because that's enough about Survivor Series.
Yeah, it's whatever.
But I watched it early because I had to watch Total Divas. So I watched the rest of it later, but I saw the opening women's match with Liv Morgan versus Peyton Royce.
What were your thoughts?
Oh, I was waiting.
You were waiting for me to step in. you know what I'm gonna say.
Well, I like. You're probably not gonna. I really like Peyton Royce, but there's potential there with Liv Morgan. Like I see it. She's getting there.
Yeah, I think it's a great sign that they have her open the show. I think that's a great sign of their confidence in her, and I really like that the crowd responded with a little bit of a let's go Liv, getting a little bit over, which is nice to see. And her, I mean, I know she like jobbed a couple of times late last year, but like her actual arc is only a couple of months old. And it's good to see. And I totally agree with you on Peyton Royce. I think of all the people right now in that division, like if you asked me to pick the next Sasha Banks or like that kind of caliber talent, I'd say it's Peyton Royce. I think her match with Asuka that I saw at the house show in Baltimore was really good. And she has a bit of that Emma, Alexa, like just being vicious on people streak, which is good. Her strikes are good. I've been thinking about this a lot, about how important it is to have decent strikes. Like how underrated of a skill that is. And like if you can make it seem like when you're punching somebody that you're hurting them, like that does so much for everything else in the match.
That's my main complaint about Dean Ambrose. Like I'll forgive everything else, but baby, start throwing more forearms. Stop throwing punches, because like that's Shane. Oh my God, Shane throws a punch. I want to cry. Stop it. You are not good at it. You do not know this art form. Throw a forearm. It's easier.
Yeah. Throwing those super like fast punches that clearly are doing no damage whatsoever, and people selling for them is just like, come on now. Like I know I need to suspend my disbelief.
Yeah, if you could just stand there and look at him like, are you serious? I wouldn't mind. It's that people actually have to sell that this may even possibly hurt a little bit.
So I feel like someone should just like be taking those punches and just take their hand and put it on Shane's forehead and just like push him back and just like get the fuck out of here with that. Like this is trash. Yeah, but back to NXT. I really like what they're doing in the women's division. I don't know if it's going to be on TakeOver. It might be on the like taping beforehand. But the 6 women tag, who I expect Mandy Rose to be the third on the heel side, but that's just pure speculation. I don't know who else it would be though, to be honest. I don't know. I think they're doing some good stuff. I think they're starting to get some reactions, and I'm really digging Peyton and Billy as a duo, as the icons. Yeah. They're really hitting their stride. And I love, like, about to lose, you know, with Liv, the little roll through guillotine choke, which I like quite a bit. I thought that was pretty smooth. I thought that was pretty slick. Billy, I thought, took a little bit long to get into the ring to break it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, I feel like you should have broke this up earlier, but still, like, that's classic BFF stuff, you know, and that's gonna pop me every time. You could literally, if they gave them literally the same lines, the exact same lines verbatim as like Summer and Sasha from like fall 2013, I think it's the best thing in wrestling history. I guarantee it. There's no doubt about it. But what else is good on NXT? Did you watch the main event?
The
main event was really good, actually. Andrade as a heel is really impressive.
Yeah, I watch it like in my spare time sometimes, but like I've always said I don't really watch NXT for anything but the women. Like it's enough men on the main roster. Yeah. So unless you're like somebody I know, like Samoa Joe or whatever, I don't care. I don't. They don't give me a reason to care. Oh, he turned heel. Yes, that's great. You when you come up with a story about that.
Right, yeah. And I mean, it's interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
This is the thing. Sean sent, the NXT predictions, and I was going to sit down and do an email, and I was like, you know what? I'm probably going to just gracefully bow out of this one because who even gives a fuck? Like, I want to see Mickie James come back, Level in DIY, and like, I'm sorry, it's just not, I don't know what they're doing with the main event stuff. It's not clicking for me. And then there's nothing like there used to be, even with the main event, there was other characters and there was a Tyler Breeze over here doing something, And it just doesn't seem like if they get focused on one person, okay, we're going to get this person over. No, just introduce me to you got a whole new cast and crew you need to get over. Don't slowly bring them out. Just dump them all. Just give them all something to do. Like, I've seen No Way Jose, and I actually like him, but give him something to do instead of just come out there and be in it. That's only going to get him so far with fans, and then people are going to get sick and tired of it. And you need to have something move him or change him or challenge him,
I thought he did good stuff with in the Aries feud. I thought he showed some stuff there, but I totally agree with you.
And but like NXT used to have where like, okay, he did something then, and then right after that he's in something else. And it's like now they're just interested in these supercars and who's the next person from the indies we can debut and make them a bigger deal than the guys we trained at the PC.
Yeah. Yeah, which is I don't know if you were seeing the tweets and stuff, but like NXT is doing very poorly apparently in attendance wise.
Yeah,
like, and TakeOver itself still has like a lot of tickets available, a lot of good seats available that are actually going for under face value is what I just saw Rev posted from Dave Meltzer and the Observer. So the whole like let's bring in like indie folks that people know, but they don't have the like emotional connection with like the NXT crowd, like the best people in NXT were there for a number of years, other than like Finn and KO, who are special talents. And
let's be honest about Nakamura, unless you're like indie kind of New Japan kind of fan. The average WWE fan, people are so ready for Nakamura to come up and flop on the main roster, and I don't know why. This got to be said, like, seriously. A person like he is very talented. I fell in love with him really quickly, but I recognize that I am not the average wrestling fan. I am not. And a show like WWE, main roster, cannot be booked to cater to every single thing I want to happen. Especially with wrestlers like that he is special. He is a unicorn. I think the two people in my picture. I think they're also unicorns in wrestling. They're not very typical wrestlers, I don't think. If they're also so neither is Nakamura. And you see how the two people in my picture have been. There is no reason a man that looks like Roman Reigns and is athletic as him should be any type of failure in a company like WWE. There's no reason why Sasha Banks should be like immediately as a babyface. There's no reason for it. It's so you call up Nakamura in the state, and I don't know where you think he's going. He's going to Raw, baby. Okay, where have all the former NXT champions gone?
All of them.
One of them on
Every
Raw.
single one, including all the way down to Bo Dallas.
Thank you. Every single last one of them is on Raw. So where do you think Nakamura will go the night after WrestleMania? It would be a great moment. That would be one boss-ass, kick-ass moment if anybody, even the women, are standing in the ring and then Rising Sun comes on. I'm going to mark the fuck out, and then I'll be like, oh, shit. Oh, he's on Raw. No. At least on SmackDown, he stood a chance. So if they want to keep him in NXT, then they need to give him a character beyond Nakamura, Japanese wrestling legend.
Yeah.
Because that shit ain't selling. It's not.
It's apparently not selling at all, really.
Put him in some fucking face paint, goddammit. Call him the fucking gargoyle or whatever. See if that works. Sorry, that's gonna be my only female joke, as I miss him dearly.
Isn't that so weird? Like, how badly we miss Finn, even though it's like, man, Finn has no character and he's kind of boring. Yeah. Yep. But just the sheer fact that a lot of people like him for some reason is kind of enough at this point. Like, it's a low bar, sure. But it's just nice to hear a face get cheered.
and show and display that outside of his work, nice guy. Not just a nice guy to his friends. Mm-hmm. Seems like overall nice guy who's never tweeting. I've never seen him like tweeting stuff about haters and how the crowd. No. He didn't tweet at the crowd and he got injured in that match. He never, I'm so disappointed that Brooklyn was acting like that. I was injured. Sympathize with me. He's never done that. I've never seen it.
That's true.
There's a discussion going on about this. Is there a certain way to behave when you're a top face? Yes, there is. The only person you can compare is John Cena because there is no spot before he made one. That's why I'm sick of him looking for another John Cena. You're not going to find him. Just like you didn't find another Stone Cold. Just like you never found another Hulk Hogan. Just like they're never, ever, ever going to find another Rock. They don't know it, but they're never going to find another CM fucking Punk. If they just knew how to book his ass, he could have been a star. A way bigger star than he ended up being. As UFC can attest, he went to another company. What happened? He was a fucking draw over there, right? Whether people he shouldn't have been fighting. Everybody wanted to fucking see it. Everybody was talking about it. I could not escape it. It was like, this is wrestling. Why are so many? But do it over there where I can't hear. Then I got interested in it, and I never understood why people were so upset. Like you have no idea how you hear all the stories about working for WWE. You have no idea how it feels to be in that position. How dare you judge any of these people for saying, you know what, not coming into work ever again.
Yeah.
I'm surprised more wrestlers don't do it. Seriously.
Yeah, it is kind of true. Like, it's
you sit down and think about what they are actually doing, what their job actually entails, and that's just in the ring. But all the travel, all the speculation, you gotta look like this, you can't say this, you gotta wear this, and then every fucking body. We're just wrestling fans. We got our own podcast, so every fucking body has an opinion. It's a hard fucking job.
It is. It is.
You know what's easier though? Being a wrestling commentator or whatnot. Just don't say stupid shit and don't go against your boss's orders. And maybe you'll still be the voice of indie wrestling, Joey Styles.
Boy. Yeah, that was, I'll tell you. So I had planned that a New York trip for that last weekend for like 2 months in the making. I didn't even know Evolve was running that show. And then I saw like, I don't know, like a month ago or so, I saw that they were running on Saturday in Queens. And I was like, I put it in the back of my mind. I was like, oh, that's cool. But I was like going to hang out with like my friends, none of whom watch wrestling, you know, at all. And all of whom are just a little bit confused about why I'm so into wrestling, you know, like this seems a little off brand for you. But yeah, but so like on like Thursday, I was like, well, there, you know, like we didn't have any set plans for the weekend really. So I was like, well, this is just this show, you know, and I had mentioned it before, and it was, my friend was like, you know, like kind of like, oh yeah, like, but not really, you know, giving it much thought. And I didn't really push it at all. And then like Saturday rolled around, and it was honestly like the decision to go was made at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And the show was at 7:30. So it was kind of like, it was kind of just like, but the way I pitched it to my friend was like, who had never, it was his first wrestling show ever. I was like, you know what? It's a different experience. And we kind of need to see different experiences right now in America. We need to open our horizons a little bit. Because some weird shit's going on in this country. And we got to figure it out a little bit. So that's how I pitched it, and it kind of worked. And he was like, "All right, you know, sure." Like tickets were $30 or whatever. It wasn't that bad. And to get there, we got to go to like Jackson Heights, which has this really cool place, like Diversity Plaza, which has a bunch of like dumpling shops and stuff around it. So we got dumplings and stuff. It was, you know, it's fun. It was a journey. It was like an adventure. And then the actual show Evolve was like, it was awesome. Like it was an awesome, awesome show. The crowd was hyped for the whole thing. You know, they were cheering the faces, booing the heels. The beers were cheap. We were like 20 feet away from the ring, like, you know, not far at all. It was great. And we were just having a blast, great time. The Chris Hero Hot Sauce Tracy Williams match was exceptional. And Chris Hero is a guy who like I've liked for a while, but like you got to see, that's a guy you got to see in person to like see and feel and hear his strikes, or, you know, at least the presentation of his strikes is really like it's a really, really big deal and impressive. But yeah, but so the whole show is great. Matt Riddle was great. King of the Bros. He was there, you know, chanting bro with the whole crowd is a bizarre experience, but it's fun. And then, you know, main event was about to start, and Joey Styles, who actually was like 10 feet behind me. The commentary, I could hear commentary. Like I wasn't really paying attention to what they were saying, but I could totally hear what was going on with them. And I was following on Twitter, and I noticed that like everyone was lambasting his commentary already. So like everyone was like, Joey Styles is like kind of dragging this show down a little bit. And then like when he came out and like confronted Stokely Hathaway, it was like, okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Stokely was, you know, doing his thing. And then when he dropped the line, it was like a record scratch moment. It was just like a pin dropped for like a second. And it was like, why would you say that? Why would you say that? And especially like he even said like, oh, Gabe told me not to talk politics, but I've got a live mic. And then he went and said it. And it was just like that you make that joke to the only woman who's presented on the show, because Evolve is an all men's fed. Like Joanna, the ring announcer, is the only woman who's seen, and that you make that joke, that reference to her is just, is so unnecessary and so not what anybody in the crowd wanted. And like you could hear everyone just stop talking, and then there were like mild boos, but like the other half was just like, did he really just say that? Did he really just do that in New York City? Did he really just use that reference, you know? Like, are you kidding me? So from that point on, like the main event match was pretty entertaining. Like it was bizarre. They just tore the ring apart, which was hilarious. But there, I saw so many people tweeting immediately about Styles, and I was like, and I tweeted as well. I was like, yeah, that's not okay. He needs to go. And honestly, the whole show was wonderful. Like the matches were really good. Jason Kincaid was another guy I'm going to put over really big. If you guys watch some of recent Evolve shows, he's been on a couple of them, and he's really impressed. I think he was really good with Fred Yehai on last Saturday. And at the end of it, my friend turned to me and was like, all right, so, and my friend who was getting into it, like he was like even chanting shit. Like he started singing like, Chris Hero ain't nothing to fuck with. Like he was like really digging that line. So he was getting into it. And at the end of the show, he's like, all right, so, you know, future shows are not off the table. And I was like, oh shit. Like, you know, I might be working a friend into being at least semi-interested in wrestling. So that was really cool. And that's, you know, that was my best moment of it, is like getting to spread my joy of wrestling to a friend of mine and them like understand why it was fun and get it. So I think if you have an indie fed near you, you guys should check it out. I think supporting independent wrestling is a really good thing. First of all, the tickets are so cheap, like compared to, you know, a typical WWE show. It's so much cheaper. And you get to see like really cool people. Like I'm going to a show in North Virginia next week, and like Chris Hero's on the card and Rachel Ellering's on the card. And, you know, so there's going to be a lot of cool people there too. So I'm pretty hyped about that. And I feel like if you're disenchanted at all with WWE or Lucha Underground or TNA or whatever product you watch, I feel like you just look around, see if there's an indie around you, and just check it out. Because if you like wrestling, like it's pretty likely that a decent indie show, you're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah. See, we have people that were right there on the scene with Joey Styles, because it's turned into a big controversy. And, you know, here are my thoughts on it. I don't watch Evolve, so I heard all this. I'm not offended by the joke. Not. It's just like kind of roll my eyes, really. I've heard better ones than that. And then to turn it around, see, here's my thing. And I suppose I've been told that this is a ultra feminist way of looking at things. I was just like, no, this is just the truth. When you call a man the equivalent of a vagina, and we know the word, and I curse a lot, but if you'll notice, I tend not to use that word a lot. So when you call a man that is an insult. And you are suggesting that my vessel for life, and I've given birth 3 times, is some way that makes me weak in something not desired of being. As a matter of fact, it's a slur on someone's manhood.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you don't possess one, have no idea what it feels like to have one. Like, at least women, when we call somebody a dick, we've at least felt how it feels. Like, there's a certain amount of dominance. We have to accept a part of you inside of us. No part of the vagina goes inside of you. It's a way more intimate feeling. And to say that and to call a man that, you're actually calling him very strong and resilient and a bringer of life even. So that's the way some guy at the height of hate Roman mania, he said, what's the difference between Eva Marie and Roman Reigns? One of them has a vagina and the other one is Eva Marie. And I got real intellectual. I was like, well, that means that Eva Marie has a penis. And people were like, no, it doesn't. I said, yo, no. That joke clearly is implying that Eva Marie has a penis. And by the way, if she does, and if Roman has a vagina, so fucking what? You know, like, well, I didn't mean to offend you. Well, you have. So we're at an impasse now. I learned that as a woman, that like to call somebody a dick is kind of accurate when you consider what a penis does. But to call somebody a vagina is not. It's a direct contradiction to what a vagina is, actually. The very contradiction. So just think about that anytime you have your locker room talk. It's inaccurate. And that was more like being political was like, yeah, the election just happened. You're rubbing people raw. Then they're not trying to think about that. And then the major thing that got me, he came out and said, my boss told me not to do this, but guess what? I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You got to fire that person. It's not very hard. People coming out to stand up for offensive language, like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, like it's one thing to be like insubordinate. It's another thing to like publicly announce you're being insubordinate, you know, from like a directive that probably came an hour earlier or so. Like, and it wasn't.
Like, they had Flow Slam people there, right? And all of this stuff. Yep. Like, how does he know that the Flow Slam people didn't come to Gabe and be like, make sure nobody goes political. We don't want any of that. You know, this is a big show for us. Yeah. So Gabe is just doing what business partners asked of him. Because, I mean, it kind of seems ironic. If it was just one promotion that had a problem with it, that all these other promotions would then in line get rid of him. It's because he did not listen to what an independent wrestling promoter told him. And if they're going to be successful as a brand and compete with WWE, which I suspect is the goal, I'm just guessing, I suspect it is, then you cannot have people like if Vince McMahon directly tell somebody, do not say this, and they say it, what we would like to wish so and so the best in their future endeavor.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot do it. So I don't know. People just, it's one thing to be like, oh, PC culture is taking, and I agree with that. Sometimes people get outlandish, like LeBron James saying if somebody called him and his friends a posse, and that's racially motivated. Have a seat. You can come to Mississippi and I can show you. I can show you what's there's folks around here that'll call you and your friends way worse than posse. Leave Phil Jackson alone. It's stuff like that that got our president-elect to where it is. Like, and they brought up in the Daily that like that Tom Hanks skit, that Black Jeopardy. I hadn't seen it, but I watched it, and I was watching it, and I was like, yeah, that's the God's honest truth. I've been to several big events in Mississippi. It's like a rap concert. I've been to one, all black crowd. I went to a rock and roll concert, all white crowd. It was very nice. I had fun, you know, wasn't nobody treating me differently, but the first time in Mississippi, I saw like a truly mixed race crowd, like black, white people everywhere was at a WWE show.
Yep.
It blew my fucking mind. So it's like, we're not as racially divided as people say. That's what I want to believe. And things like wrestling can bring so many people, especially Vince. He brings a lot of people together, whether he knows it or not.
That's true. And maybe he brings them together because they're all bitching about his booking, but he's still managing to bring them together.
from all over the world, even.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Vince McMahon, a true uniter. How about that?
Oh, is that some shooting? Because I was trying to be like, look, I can be nice, but this is Wednesday night shooting.
Yeah, you just dropped a lot of truths on some folks. I was over here just like,
well, I mean, but it's I know because I can still get caught up in it, but like
yeah,
Kevin, who I love dearly, he asked me, he was like, "How do you remain so cheery and you watch all this stuff?" And I was just like, I've been through so much worse, and it's like I've been a smart for a long time. This goes in cycles. I didn't see the next cycle coming up.
yeah. Yeah, I think, I don't know, WWE's in a weird place right now. And it's like they are doing a lot of stuff that is forward thinking, but then they're also doing like stuff on their main that's just seems very staid. So
yeah, and on that note, I'm going to say this because this is another thing. I realized this because on SmackDown, I enjoyed both The Undertaker and Edge. And I was like,
oh, yeah.
And I was like, go away. But you know what? No, it's not their fault either. The thing that bothers me about part-timers is that there's no other time in wrestling can I remember let's bring back Bruno Sammartino to pin Hulk Hogan. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was never guys from a past era being brought in and being made more important than the guys who are keeping the lights on. The guys who are keeping the lights on was still like, everything didn't stop, Jake the Snake come back, everything didn't stop. Stone Cold beat him. Like, imagine if somebody had booked Jake the Snake to go over Stone Cold in the King of the Ring. And the Austin 316 speech never gets made. Like, that sounds ludicrous back then. That seems like a possibility now. And that's why a lot of people hate part-timers, because they can't get over that.
Mm-hmm.
And if they cannot create a new star, I don't care how they do it. It's just, these guys will keep going to, I cannot stress Goldberg. Like, did you see the scene? What it was, what he had to do with they found the smallest, tiniest little independent wrestlers for them to throw around.
Oh yeah.
And he tweaked his shoulder, and I'm like, nah, bro.
Yeah, at some point there's gonna be something. I mean, I guess we saw it with Sting, like, who like had a serious injury in the ring.
Yes.
Basically because of old age. But someone's gonna blow up in the ring, and it's gonna be awful, It's like you got all these people who are in prime physical condition and can be something. Use them, build them to be something. And I like you, I was when I heard that Undertaker and Edge were coming back, especially Undertaker, because I've never really liked him. But I kind of like Edge. And he's also not that old. He looked like he could, he should be in the Survivor Series match, basically, It's not for those damn injuries. But, like, Undertaker, I was just like, I don't care at all, about this guy coming back. But even I was like, all right, they used him effectively. They did the big entrance. And first of all, he came out at like 9:53, and both you and Vid were like, "Are they gonna have time to do his 7-minute entrance and then like have an extra talk too?" So like they did that, and then his promo was not that long. It was like two or 3 minutes, and he also went over the crowd when they were trying to chant "Undertaker, Undertaker, Undertaker" really loudly. He repeated his line. Like, if you fail, he said, if you fail, and then they started the chant big time, and then he said, if you fail, and like that kind of like quieted them down. So turns out there are ways to get over crowds chanting stuff.
That's because Undertaker got 20 years. It's not fair.
Yeah, people got experience.
That's another thing about part-timers. It's not fair. They have 20 years of developing characters, and they know who they're supposed to be. Half the wrestlers especially on Raw's main event, they don't even know who the fuck their character is because it changes week to week. They don't know.
What are the characters? Kevin Owens is like now a corporate shill, but he used to be like a vicious sociopathic family man. Jericho is like an.
It's not fair because he's got what 2 decades of character building.
Yeah,
we already know he's just being funny part-time with Jericho, stealing all the attention.
He's really doing that.
Funny, but goddamn, like it shouldn't take all of that.
Yeah, it's not about him anymore. It shouldn't be. It should be about Kevin Owens, but like who he has been totally sidelined in that act. It kind of feels like. Seth Rollins, I couldn't tell you his character at all. Whiny guy who's mad that people no longer help him cheat. Is that it?
Yeah.
That's not very good.
You know who his character should be reliable tag team partner. I'm sorry.
Reliable tag team partner. Oh, man. I mean, it was there for the taking. You kind of had to take that shot, right? You kind of had to take that shot.
Oh, I just, but even that, like I was explaining, like I think I've seen way worse wrestling, way worse eras. Even if the shit was more entertaining, and a lot of stuff that was going backstage during these eras was a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
I like the way the guys relate to each other. They all seem in one way or another, even if like some of them will do some little politics, they still seem to be like united, and everybody wants to be over. It's not like those guys on Raw bust their ass. They work their ass off. You can tell.
Mm-hmm.
And just they're getting stifled. They don't
get the backing they need.
I'm used to it. I've seen Vince do this for the longest time. I think he did it to the Macho Man. So growing up as a child and kind of like not realizing why this guy who's obviously more awesome, that's always gonna be my opinion. Macho Man was better. Hulk Hogan was charismatic. He was a con artist, as a certain tape showed everybody. Yeah. But I could always appreciate that aspect because wrestling is a con. But I can never say I really liked Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Even though I liked the Clique, they were a group of shitty people. And the only one that was halfway decent is X-Pac. And that's why he's my favorite one.
That's true. I saw you like retweeting. Yeah.
He's the best one of the group. That's wrestling. That's the history of wrestling.
Yeah, it's ugly history. It's ugly history up until recently, you know.
Right, they're like playing video games and like FaceTiming each other.
Right, like what the hell is this shit?
If they could take that, the thing I think is the people of that bad era that were politicking, they work for Vince McMahon. They're yes cronies. They're it's a lot of them digging all through that company, and it's not just Vince. It's a lot of other people all up in there.
Yeah,
putting their 2 cents in. It's a lot of people still don't want to see women succeed. I believe in some people don't want to see Triple H succeed, but hey, can you blame him? Ain't no telling what Triple H did to some of them people back in the day.
It's true. He's got some skeletons.
Yes, he sat at Shawn Michaels' feet, Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall, and learned and did it 10 times better than they could have ever thought. All of them. Kevin Nash would just come out and say it. Marrying the boss's daughter, that's the end game. Game over with.
And then Triple H was like, no, actually, I'm going to use this into becoming like the The heir apparent.
He's gonna run the company. Well, hopefully, if like he can pull NXT back.
Right? Yeah. Seriously. I think one note about that, like NXT is falling apart, like Chicken Little stuff, is they literally just graduated like a ton of people, and they're in a rebuilding period. And honestly, like people have been like, you know, their TV isn't that great lately, which is kind of true, but there is some really good stuff that's happening on it. There's just also lots of stuff that's just kind of mediocre or boring. But there are some things to be watching there. I'll say that. So, you know, I think NXT will be fine.
I think all of them are going to be fine, especially when people, you know, just retire or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
That should be like 2017. Old people retire already.
That's what 2017 is going to be, is just old people retiring. That's going to be.
And with that, we'll shoot on that again next week. This has been Andrew M. Swift. This has been Wednesday Night Shooting. Oh, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bang, bang.